I'd like your opinion on our commercial.
This commercial ends up being pretty tame by 2023 standards.
I've paid to have it aired during the Super Bowl.
Being 1,000 years in the future and still relying on VHS-C. It's a shitty format. And if we send it in Stranger Things, you can bet your shiny metal ass we're gonna send it here too. Also, in the history of man, recordable media has evolved into VHS tapes twice. If it happens one more time, it will have tied with lobsters. Suddenly the existence of Dr. Zoidberg makes sense, and him making sense is a terrifying prospect.
When those other companies aren't brave or foolhardy enough to go, trust Planet Express for reliable, on-time delivery.
Show predicts Amazon delivering its own packages almost 15 years before it happens.
Are there really giant birds like that?
No, that was all just special effects.
We don't get more of this storyline where Professor Farnsworth uses practical effects against the studio's wishes. Are they saying that aliens are a gender unto themselves, or are they reducing all aliens to one monolithic group here for human arousal, regardless of their gender? Of all the shows that ask tough questions, I expected Futurama to be the one with the answers. Earworm theme songs. I know you can't hear it, but it took me a decade to get this one out of my head the last time, and 2033 feels very, very far away.
Caffeinated bacon? Baconated grapefruit? Admiral Crunch?
Archduke Chocula.
Great. Now I'm hungry for foods that don't exist. And while I'm sure Admiral Crunch is similar to Captain Crunch, I assure you Archduke Chocula is fundamentally different than the Count.
Death by sonic diarrhea.
Oh, you don't want that.
Probably not, but it can't be worse than death by Knuckles diarrhea.
I intend to do as little dying as possible.
Joke's on you, Leela. Minimum wage employees die a little on the inside with every shift they complete. So, happy captaining.
Before you go into space, you'll need to see our staff doctor.
Why? You already went to space during the pilot and he was fine. You just needed a forced way to introduce Zoidberg.
Young lady, I'm an expert on humans. Now pick a mouth, open it, and say...
The subtitles in my version of the episode say that the noise Zoidberg makes is called lobster crowing, but everyone who Googled this a second ago knows they sound like violins.
Look over here! I'm being entertaining!
Bender would be excellent at TVSins.
All right, show's over. I'm tired.
Line Matt Groening said to Netflix executives about disenchantment when Hulu offered to revive Futurama somehow makes it into the episode.
Nice catch, idiot.
Blaming the receiver when the passer made a shitty throw. I didn't know Bender played for the Jets.
And those other brave guys no one ever heard of.
Hey, that's Buzz Aldrin erasure, and I won't tolerate that. He's just as important as Neil. Oh, hey, what's up? Don't forget Michael Collins. Who the is that?
Amy, why don't you help Fry hoist down the crate? Then lock up when you're done.
As we see her with the group when they go to Luna Park, it is clear that Leela hasn't gone off on her own. So why does she give Amy the keys here? Just so they can get lost inside the crate? It's like the story politely asked Leela for a B-plot catalyst. There are surprisingly few bare butts on Moon Street, USA.
I'll have to confiscate your alcohol, sir.
Better mascots than you have tried.
Just gonna ignore the sudden onset of deja vu and focus on the fact that this park is paying mascots enough for them to take their alcohol enforcement duties seriously. Show thinks that when Bender hits the eye of a George Méliès homage, it's amore. Bullshit. I understand everything about Moon. It's a well-crafted film which you should not disparage.
I guess a robot would have to be crazy to want to be a folk singer.
Setting up the story for a possible future episode instead of focusing on the episode you're currently in.
This is weak.
Show just now realizes that this amusement park bit is, in fact, boring and that we're all on the verge of a nap due to lack of stimuli.
Address all complaints to the Monsanto Corporation.
In hindsight, Monsanto purchasing a theme park is probably a better deal than Bayer purchasing Monsanto. That one goes out to all our fans working in acquisitions and mergers.
I don't care how educational it is. Let's do it.
Title of my sex tape? Are we really expected to care about the rest of this episode more than trying to find out what the fatalities are in mortal cooperation?
The keys to the ship.
Amy and Bender just happen to be here in the arcade when these stuffed animals are getting loaded in. Show rips off Firefly's use of Chinese dialect to swear and get past the censors. What's that? This came before Firefly? Huh. Well, in that case, it's a Matt Groening show predicts the future cliche.
I don't see you with a fungineering degree.
The sadness of realizing that the Fungineers are making shitty theme park rides instead of delicious mushroom ravioli.
We're gonna die! It's every man for himself! Help me, Leela!
Damn you, Futurama, for making me laugh so hard at such a simple joke. Go ahead, take your sin back.
It's just like making love. You know, left, down, rotate 62 degrees, engage rotor.
I couldn't have described it better myself. Leave it to a machine to be so accurate and precise. Never mind our jobs. AI is coming for our dongles and charging ports.
We're amusement park patrons.
Ooh, that's a wicked, sinful place.
Oh, okay. Thanks for the assist, stereotypical moon farmer.
Just don't be a-touching my 3 beautiful robot daughters.
Looks like they made an entire B-plot out of an inappropriate joke I learned in middle school. I wonder if they'll include that part where I told my little brother he repeated it to my mom, and I learned that Irish Spring soap tastes like neither the Irish nor the spring.
Ugh, Bender, you didn't touch the Crushinator, did you?
Of course not. A lady that fine, you gotta romance first.
I'm tempted to take a sin off here for Bender being so body positive, but that unnerves me too much given that it's Bender. So here's a sin for Fry judging Bender's hypothetical sex partners. You're literally your own grandfather, dude. Show establishes mankind doesn't remember how we reached the moon in July 1969, but somehow still remembers the Confederacy, which came a century before that. We don't take too kindly to inconsistency around these parts.
Hey, cool! Dark Side of the Moon!
Forgetting other great Pink Floyd albums like The Wall and Animals.
I really ought to do something, but I am already in my pajamas.
When Friday night comes around and you suddenly realize you're in your 30s.
Now get in here before you freeze.
Okay, but that lander doesn't have functioning life support inside, does it? You will still freeze to death in there.
I guess I just wanted you to see it through my eyes, the way I used to.
Episode takes Fry from idiot asshole to buffoon with a heart of gold, but forgets that he was willing to let Leela die in quicksand.
It really is beautiful. I don't know why I never noticed before.
Probably because this episode needed a source of conflict. And now that it's almost over, we can shift to forcing this unearned emotional connection. This clever black ear to explain why the lunar lander is here on the moon when the astronauts would have had to return it when they came back to Earth is clever, but it wasn't in the ship earlier.
Amy? Where'd she learn to operate the controls like that?
Leela seems to be questioning Amy's ability to fly the ship, but then we see Amy working the winch just like the claw game because the episode needs to justify the arcade side quest. So now we're questioning Amy's ability to fly the ship. All they had to do was write in a reason for her to play a few rounds of Starfighter to put our minds at ease.
She'll be riding 6 white horses when she comes. Hey, I'm pretty good.
You are not. Come back when you're ready to sing Bacon Pancakes.
I feel this, sinking feeling where my heart is.
Death by airlock failure. Death by brain parasite. Death by...
Chocolate.
Nowhere special. The moon.
The moon? The moon?
The moon rules!
I'm the moon, the original moon.
Hey, I got you guys refrigerator magnets.
Oh, no, not the bees!
The gravity, the air, the gophers.
They taste terrible.
A simulation of a simulation.
Nightfall's coming.
I'm so cold that I'm shivering.
Oh, no room for Bender, huh?
Now go away or I shall taunt you a second time.